everyone, welcome to the patch notes rundown. Um, so for this patch, there's gonna be some item nerfs that are pretty significant, and most of the nerfs make a lot of sense. Uh, I don't think the buffs will do that much, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Briar, so what they're doing to Briar is they're nerfing his damage slightly. So there's 100 damage down from his rank 3 ultimate. Um, his bonus attack speed is going down and the healing on his W is going down slightly. Uh, this is only at max rank, so early this doesn't really change. And same for the attack seat. And his Q can now jump towards. So the Q has a very short range, but the fact that you get terrain scaling as a jungler that doesn't have it, reliably at least, because you can just jump whenever you want over walls. It's actually pretty big because a big part of certain junglers' weaknesses is that they can't jump walls. So I think Olaf or Udyr, that kind of thing. It is actually pretty big, even if the wall is very small. Because some champions just cannot follow you if they've used their movement ability, or they have the flash. So yeah, it's actually pretty big. So all in all, this raises his skill ceilings a bit. But the thing is, he's not that much of a high elo menace. He's like mostly for low elo, where people can dodge his ultimate from half screen away. So yeah, he won't make the tier list for either high elo or low elo. I think if you're on low elo, you're better off like sticking to something like Nocturne, Cho'Gath. Um, his W cooldown is going down by 2 seconds at rank 1. So Cho'Gath doesn't max this ability first in any build. It's always Q or E, I think. And sometimes they max this second, but it's possible that this will change after this. Um, I mean, for AP, you're probably still maxing the second, or at least getting some points in it. So the 2 seconds doesn't really do a whole lot because you're not casting this thing off cooldown. You're usually holding it so you can get like maximum value out of the silence. Or you're just one-shotting people if you're full AP. So the E, instead of scaling with the feast stacks, you now get a flat 3%, which is equal to having 6 feast stacks, which is pretty huge. Um, so this is gonna hurt against tanks. So as a blind pick, I mean he's always been like a decent blind pick, but he's better in certain matchups now. Uh, in matchups against melee champions, you can fight a lot. Um, the thing is, the issues with Cho'Gath are that the tank items kinda suck. So, like previous iterations of Stoneblade were really good on him, for example, and yeah, tank items just aren't that great right now. The HP stacking items aren't that great, and your champion size increases, which is really annoying because you cannot dodge anything and you will die to percentage HP damage, whether it's a Kai'Sa or Vayne or whatever. So yeah, tanks have it rough, and like that's his primary issue. So the buff isn't gonna help him that much. And yeah, Diana, they're buffing her attack speed, and the attack speed after using ability lasts longer now. This doesn't do anything because for AP she's not gonna be auto attacking that long, and tank items suck. So it's the same issue with Cho'Gath. Like you're not gonna if you build Nashor's Tooth, you're not gonna you can build Jaxo second, but like Jaxo second isn't that great of an item by itself without other tank items. And if you build another AP item, you might as well just go all in on Zhonya's and Deathcap, right? So yeah, unless certain tank items really high value into the enemy team, you might build it second. But otherwise, just tank items aren't very good. Galio. Galio is actually pretty interesting champion. He was on the tier list as a counter pick. He was like pretty good in the right spot. And overall, I've looked through these and it feels like a nerf because his passive is gonna be up more often. but he's losing damage, especially burst damage. So his damage is just down, and the idea is that he'll be able to stay in fight slightly longer. But I'm not sure if that will work. Basically, you have to be in fights longer to deal as much damage. So he's basically just getting nerfed, which is kind of sad because he'll probably drop out of the tier list. It's kind of fun for him to be in it for a while. Um, yeah, so like his damage is going down, and he's getting a slight HP scaling on the W, which are trying to incentivize bruiser builds, but like also bruiser Riftmaker, for example, is getting nerfed a bit later. We'll talk about that, but yeah, I don't think these changes will affect him all that much, and overall it's a slight nerf probably, because 10 ramps just aren't that good. Gragas. He's losing 40 base HP, and the mana cost on his Q is 80 at all ranks, so it's not going down, which put points into it. This does absolutely nothing for Gragas top lane, it doesn't do anything for jungle, so um, yeah, so thing is, Gragas, like, his level 1 is actually like pretty shit, especially over in top lane. But like once he gets the tier right, none of this matters because you can't kill him through the damage reduction. His W cooldown is way too short, so he always has it up, and yeah, you can never all in him, and he will always out sustain you with tier. So these changes don't affect that. Like good Gragas like doesn't care about the change. The Samp's still incredibly broken and good on all rolls, but especially top lane he's busted. Karma. So yeah, these are. So they're trying to not hit Karma support and mostly mid, but the reality is they're hitting both to some extent. So yeah, I think top lane she's still probably best, and like mid she's playable. Like she's still gonna be annoying, but uh, I mean, honestly, like these nerfs aren't that big. The mana cost is going up, and you're losing 1 second of the cooldown refund. Um, yeah, and you're losing 3 seconds at the max rank monster, but the level one's unchanged. Uh, yeah, I mean, these changes don't do anything. She's still good. Kane. So they're nerfing the Blue Kane Ultimate. 25% base AD, which isn't like that much. And the Q nerf is only for Rust. It's just getting buff, I think, by one. Okay, it doesn't do anything. So 1% max health. So yeah, this does nothing at all. Kane's actually in a pretty good spot. Like he might make the tier list. Like it was very close last time. He probably won't be on it, but he's a pretty good champion right now. Or an E cooldown down by 2 seconds. Okay, doesn't matter at all because you're not casting this off cooldown ever. Uh, Ornn is actually pretty decent because as far as tanks go, he's always like one of the best just because of the items he gives. Um, thing with Ornn is right now tanks just aren't very good. Their items aren't very good. Uh, Shen will be a bit later. We'll talk about him once we see him. So Rek'Sai some bug fixes. Yeah, reason I didn't talk about much about Rek'Sai last time as well. The changes were pretty interesting. The fact that he can knock up multiple enemies now will actually make him a decent bruiser. But I knew from certain mains that he had a lot of bugs. Now that they're fixed, he might actually become a very decent champion if played bruiser like Jarvan, Jin Zhao category. Um, Senna, so the spawn of the passive on minion kills is going down significantly. Okay, they've done this before, they're trying to gut ADC Senna. I think it's successful. I think if you're, after this nerf, if you're just not in solo queue at least, you should be playing your support if you want to play Senna. And she's still good there. Shen, blah blah blah. Cooldown refund. So instead of scaling flat, it's linearly, and the first reduction was at level 6, so this is actually pretty big for his early levels. But the thing about Shen is, like, he's still a decent early game bully because if he has the passive up, you cannot win a trade against him ever. Um, the thing is, his items just aren't very good. And the moment you alt bot, you lose so much with the grubs and the plates. And yeah, like yeah, uh, yeah, he's always gonna be okay because of his ultimate, but like tank items are just bad, so that's the issue. Same with Sion. Tank items are bad, HP stacking items are bad. Last season they were very good. You could get insane amounts of passive effects on items based off your max HP. So if you were San, you had Titanic Hydra and the Sunfire, you would deal an extra 1,000 damage like per second just because of those items. But no, so now those items aren't there anymore, and yeah, they're. Uh, I don't even think these are significant buffs. Like you're getting 5% extra total AD on your Q, but it's down level one. So if you're not building, I mean it's total AD and you have high base AD, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, like your max damage is going slightly up, okay, but yeah. Um, so the biggest buff is actually the late game shield, I guess. It's going up based on max health, which is a lot because Sonic gets a lot of max health, right? But the fact that that these items suck, because this 4% is not what's gonna keep you alive against the Vayne or AP Kaisa or whatever later into the game. So you need like Gargoyle Stoneblade, stuff like that to keep you alive. But like this isn't gonna help him. The tanks aren't very good. Smolder, so the execute threshold's going down. So what they're doing is they're nerfing her very late game, um, which is mostly a low elo thing, I guess. Probably the most significant thing for high elo is the E nerf, because now if you're a champion that builds actually invests in the movement speed, you can catch her if she's not careful. So. Yeah, for a high elo, I mean, with the crit changes, she might fall out of the meta. Actually, I don't think she's that great top anymore, and yeah, these are actually pretty decent side nerfs. The missile radius on W is slightly smarter too, but this isn't enough to actually make that much of an impact. Um, Tryndamere, so attack speed goes up. So they're saying they nerf lethal tempo, so he lost out. They're also buffing crit later this patch, so he actually might make a return as a thing about Tryndamere is that he's not blind pickable. In top lane at least. In mid lane he might be. So he might make Tontiris as a mid laner. Because the crit chains are actually pretty big for him, because if you don't know, Tryndamere can get 40% crit based off his passive. Yeah. Volibear jungle. Yeah, they slightly overbuffed him. They're nerfing him 10 seconds extra on the alt, 4% at maxed out Q, movement speed down. Um, Basically, like he wasn't like that busted, but because he's so easy to play and because it's so a lot harder to make a mistake on him than on Rengar or Nidalee or something like that or Lee Sin, he was slightly stronger. I think now if you actually like invest the time to like learning actual champion, you're better off playing that than Volibear after these nerfs. But he's still like the thing with Volibear in comparison to like something like Jarvan or Jin Zhao is that those champions are more situational, I'd say. With Jarvan, you need good ult throws. With Jin Zhao, you benefit a lot from having an enchanter on your team. Volibear is just a better generic pick. So if you need a backup champion or ult filled or just slow elo learn the role, he's still gonna be your guy. Um, Items. So they're buffing crit items because they're saying the crit ACs aren't very good. I think actually the crit ACs are okay-ish. So the thing is, I mean, AP Kai'Sa is actually very busted, and like these crit changes won't make the crit ADCs better than AP Kai'Sa. I think if you're not like playing AP Kai'Sa, you're actually trolling. Um, but these are like you're getting 10 extra crit damage on the Infinity Edge, a 5 AD on the Vori, 5% pen on the Last Sprite. These are big buffs. For Jinx, for Xayah. Not so much for Twitch, but also these are big buffs for Tryndamere and Tristana. So Tristana mid is going to be very strong with these items. Uh, it's also a very small buff for Ezreal, I think, with the AD here. Um, yeah, I mean, the thing is, like in spots where Jinx isn't good, these items are not gonna make Jinx suddenly good. I think the exception to it is Kai'Sa, just because not Kai'Sa, Xayah, just because of her ultimate. So there's that. But like especially Triss mid is gonna love these changes. She might become really broken. Uh, yeah. So the Doran's items and the support starting items are unique now. It's kind of whatever. They're nerfing Gold and Calm on support, okay, that's warranted, and Solstice gets moves to drag. Solstice is actually pretty bad right now. It's been over nerfed, I think. Yeah, now it's the biggest changes in the patch. They're nerfing a lot of components, and so first of all, the Bobby Cinder, they're changing it from 12 to 13, but the bones health going down. Just the bones health of this item gives you 3 damage. Used to, now it's 1.5. So this is a fat nerf, like a gigantic nerf, and that is not taking into consideration the HP runes or any item HP, any other HP item you could have. So why they're nerfing this item, I don't know. I don't think it's a strong item. And the same for these. So when you look at all these nerfs, one thing that you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be trying to build around the nerf if you can. So for example, the hunting guys is nerfed. So if you're building the hunters, you're gonna grab the blasting wand and the amp tome first, and not complete the hunting guys early. I think you should look at it like that. Same for like hardbound X, because this item's usually found in triple component items, so you can build around it. For other champions, like it's harder to get around by an alterator, but like as a percentage, this isn't that big of a nerf. Same for the shard. So lethality is getting nerfed pretty hard. Riftmaker is getting nerfed hard, just because of the both the codex and the haunting guys nerf. Like this component is terrible, the buckler. So, but you're already building around this. So if you're building Ronduin or Frozen Heart, you're always building the Warden's Mill first and then this. So yeah, overall you're gonna be building around some of these nerfs. But the lethality items especially are nerfed, and AP bruisers as well, I'd say, which are indirect buffs to other classes such as ADC. Um, And the void crops, okay, remaining void crops. 30% and extra increases their maximum health. Oh, it's gonna be heal, not a shield. This actually makes it easier to smite to know how much health they are, but it doesn't like change the clear speed or anything. Yeah, so this doesn't really do anything. Yeah, so to recap, Briar doesn't change anything. Greg is still broken. Karma's still really strong. Senna support good. As ADC, she's pretty bad now. Smolder is pretty balanced, I think. Same for Volibear. Like the tanks here aren't getting buffed because their items suck. That's pretty much it. If you want to play tank, you should like, I don't know, man. If you want to play tank, just don't. Just play Dota or something, because they're not very good. Diana change doesn't do anything, and the Tryndamere change doesn't do anything, except for the fact that the crit items were buffed, so it might make her turn mid lane. And these changes, these are like small nerfs and small buff, I'd say, but not too, like all these champs are playable, but aren't like super great. Um, yeah, so the components and the items, crit times are really good. But like it might shift the meta in the sense that like you will see more Jinx Enchanter type things coming back, more Xayahs, but um, like by the ADC, the crit ADCs by themselves are not getting stronger except for Tristan and maybe Tryndamere. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.